Hello, my name is Thomas Elwin, I'm a tenor, and welcome to the second lesson in English Touring Opera's series of singing lessons for the English Touring Opera at Home channel. As I've said, my name is Tom Elwin. I'm a tenor and I've sung with English Touring Opera and various other opera companies, choirs, orchestras around Europe and most in the UK. And I'm very happy today to introduce the lesson which we are calling Be Your Own Leader. What do we mean by be your own leader? Well, as with any walk of life, there are those who are leaders in a choir, there are those that are good team players, those that have less confidence early on and build, and all manner of people that you find in a choir, as I'm sure you know through your own experience. Now, what we don't want to do today is try and enforce you to become the leader of your section or the follower in your section or fit into a role that you don't necessarily feel comfortable in. But what we're hoping to do is give you some skills to take into your choral life that will make you feel more confident and enable you to enjoy even more the experience of singing in a choir, which can be so fulfilling and wonderful for so many people in society. So, what is being a leader? Well, as I said before, I don't want to create 100 tenors who are the typical sort of leader of a section. Every tenor section in a choir and every section of all the four sections needs that balance of singers, that balance of a team to create the best choir possible. And what I really want you to do is to think about what makes you a good part of the choir that you're in. What do you enjoy doing really well? And what do you find difficult? What do you find maybe stresses you out a bit? Maybe you're not so much looking forward to when you turn up on a Thursday night for that rehearsal or for the concert. When we consider those things, then we can sort of put together a roadmap for how we can build our skills as the sort of leader we want to be. Myself in a choir, I enjoy being able to create the best blend possible with my fellow tenors, being able to work out who has the sort of confidence with reading the music very early on, who's got a really good breath control, and quickly when you find these things out, you realise who can help each other. And it is a team. A choir is a great team. Some of the best teams are choirs, big and small. But what other skills can we think of? Well, maybe if sight reading is something that you worry about, there are some very practical things you can consider doing. I have, coincidentally, these two books that I've bought myself recently to work on my own sight reading. There's this one by William Appleby, Sing at Sight. You're getting a bit of Herefordshire sun on the book there. Sing at Sight by William Appleby. And then something a bit more testing. There's a book called Modus Novus, which I'm told will enable you to sing any music ever written quite easily if you get through this book. Now, these sort of books you don't have to own, but sight singing is one of those skills that when you work at it, you do improve. There are people that have sight read since they were very small. I was lucky enough to be in a choir as a child, and I used to have to sight sing daily. But as an opera singer, I don't sight read so much. And actually it's a skill that one has to keep developing and do that in order to maintain your confidence doing it. How else do we build our position as a leader within ourselves? Well, similarly to sight reading, using your voice is something that we can build confidence in and also lose confidence in. Lots of people haven't been singing through the last 18 months or so, the lockdown period, the times when choirs haven't been meeting. And so lots of us have sort of lost the sense of how singing feels and how we feel when we sing, and also the sort of the oral experience of singing around other people. So today I'm going to introduce to you a few exercises that hopefully you'll benefit from going forward into your time again singing in choirs. And finally in this section, what do we love about singing? What is it that makes us turn up to that rehearsal? Now when we share that, to sort of give that positive sense of ourselves, then we are the best we can be within that team situation. There's nothing worse than turning up to a rehearsal and people sort of complaining about saying, oh, I'm dreading this music, I'm dreading that. But actually then there's nothing better than seeing people turn up with a positivity, and that might be a quiet positivity or positivity through the way you sing, positivity of the questions you ask, or the support that you give someone who might be struggling next to you. These are just some of the things that I'd like you to think about going forward. And the next section, I'm going to give you a couple of actual vocal exercises. Well, we are 5, 6, 7 minutes through this video and I've done lots of talking, and it's now time to build some voice confidence with some exercises. What I'd like you to do is maybe pause the video for a second when I tell you to, and do some stretches, maybe do some of the breathing work we did in the first lesson. And then when you feel ready, I want you to press play again, and we're going to do a few exercises just to explore, so discovering your voice again and having a confidence with the sound that you're making. Okay, so ready to pause? You can press hands. Welcome back. Okay, first exercise, what I want you to do is, if you could do a V or a rolled R, or a V, what I want you to do is just to slide up and down as much as you can from low to high, and I want you to use your hand just to show you up and down, and I want you to look at your hand doing it. This is not about how high and low you can go, this is just about following your hand in its journey. So what I'm going to show you, and then I'll give you a moment to do it. I'm going to give myself an A below middle C on a piano to this note. I'm going to do on a V, so okay. Do you want to try that for me? Get your hand here, get that note. You're going to do rolled R. Okay, and 3, 2, 1. Okay, you may want to pause the video and try that again yourself. And really what I want you to do is just explore sliding your voice all over the place, okay? This is not about singing loudly or beautifully, this is just about sliding and feeling that voice go all the way around you. Okay, I'm going to talk a tiny bit now. What I'd like you to think about is this idea that there's a sort of thread through the voice always, as a sort of core, and the centre of every note is on that thread. So when I sing low, the centre is here, centre still there, centre, there's this sort of core always happening. Now, depending on how much energy you give the sound, there's sort of echoes and reverberation around that core of a sound. So the reason this hand thing is good is just to sort of slide up and down that thread. Now what I want you to do is slide this way instead. So I'm not changing pitch, but I want you to slide in terms of volume. How do we change volume? Well, we just increase the speed of air. We did some breathing work in the last lesson. How do we increase the speed of air? Well, we think low down. We have that deep breath we bring in, and then when we're breathing out, we just increase the speed of air through the breathing muscles that we were using, and we introduced to each other last week. Okay, go on that A again, and I want you to do a V, and I want you to try this, open it to an R, very soft, and again using your hand. Your hand is going to show you the amount of energy you're using. So this is quiet, this is building up, this is the loudest you can do, and then you get softer again. Try this for me then. Okay, now that's actually quite a technical exercise, so you might not get it first time, but try pausing the video when you want to, and try repeating the exercise for me. So beep. Okay, how was that for you? Did you find it easy? Did you find it difficult? Maybe try it on a different note. Let's go down to a G. I want you to do it again, maybe change a vowel. Let's go with an OR. So I'm going to do it once, and just to show you, I'm going to get a V at the beginning. Good. How am I changing the volume? All I'm doing is changing the speed of air. So the vocal cords are buzzing at the same hertz the whole time, and all that's happening is that there's more air going through, which means it's louder, okay? And then when it's just slower airflow, the buzzing is the same, slower airflow, and we get quieter again. What that exercise does is it gives us a real flexibility within the voice, and hopefully a confidence for you to be able to go from pianissimo to fortissimo and know that it is a scale. And all you're doing, keep everything relaxed, is just increasing and decreasing the speed of air. Okay. This is a fun section, I hope. What is changing one's oral perception? Well, as most of us will recognise, when you hear a video of your own voice, you're a bit surprised. It's like, oh, I didn't realise I sounded like that. And actually, it's very true as a singer too. What we hear as a singer is actually not the same as what everyone else hears. And what we hear is after what we've done. So the sound is made, and then our ears hear it. And then often when we hear it, we go, oh, that's nice, and then we continue in a confident way, it's a nice acoustic. Or we go, oh, that's a bit sharp or flat, or the sound is shrill or dull, or any of these words we can use to describe one's own singing. And then the next sound we create is affected by that thought we've had of the sound that is lost into the building. So we have a really bad perception of what we sound like ourselves. Now, how do we help this, and how do we allow it not to get in the way of us singing well? Well, the way to do it is by practicing not listening to yourself at all. If you have earplugs, great. If you have ear defenders, superb. Or if you have two hands, that's also good. Now, what I'd like you to do is do the two exercises we did before, but to cover your ears doing them. So get a note in the middle of your range, let's say an A, and cover your ears and just go, okay, a nice slide like this. And what I want you to do when doing that is to be really aware of how you feel physically. So you've had a nice breath in, you feel nice and relaxed, and you're just making a sound, but not judging it how it sounds, okay? So I allow you to pause the video and do it yourself. Pause. How was that? I hope you enjoyed the physical sensation of singing without the oral feedback. Now try the other exercise. This is a bit harder, not hearing yourself, but actually it gives you a better chance to be aware of how the speed of air is changing. I'll show you again. Let's choose a G sharp or an A flat, depending on which side of the sharps and flats you sit. And I'll do it on an ooh this time. Okay, give that a go yourself. It's harder because we can't use the hands to show us the energy change, but I want you to really picture and feel that change in the speed of air physically, which will be helped by not having the oral feedback. Okay, pause the video here. How was that for you? Hopefully that gave you a better sense of how you feel physically. Now what I want you to do is some exercises where we're going to start covering our ears and then halfway through remove the hands. Okay, so for example, I'm going to do a few scales. I want you to repeat after me, but I want your hands over your ears when you do them. So I would do this. When you want to do it yourself, if you pause the video and do it yourself, cover your ears and then play the video again. So I'm not just sat here in silence guessing how long your scale takes. Okay, good. I'll do one for you. I'm going to do this to an R. Okay, pause the video. What I want you to do is really, the second scale, take your hands away and see how that feels differently to how you might have been singing before. Okay, pause the video. Good. Now you can take that scale as high as you want. Let's maybe really up, high and low, whatever you feel covers your range best. Now we're going to try that again, and I want you to do a shorter scale, but I want you to do it for a longer time. So we're going to do maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times through this 5-note scale. I'm on the sharp side apparently today. I want you to cover your ears for the whole time on this one, and all I want you to think about is this sense of you're just breathing out this exercise of a scale, and we're just trying to do it as long as possible, and I want you to really connect into the physical sensation of singing out. So I'm going to start on F and go like this. Okay, that was 6, 7, 8 times through that scale up and down. And ordinarily, when I'm listening to myself, my breath might not last as long. But by connecting to a physical feeling of singing, we're turning off certain things, certain worries, certain sort of subconscious attacks on how we sing. And we're allowing it to be what it really is, which is a physical act. Now, how is that useful in the choir? Well, often you can't quite hear how you sing in the choir, but hopefully you can always feel how you feel physically. Now, if you want to give that exercise a go, I'll allow you to pause it, and I just want you to do as many as you want, as many as you can. Okay, pause. Welcome back. How many did you do? Maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, more scales than me? Well, bravo if you did. And how do we improve that exercise? Well, because we're now more aware of how we are physically, we can do things to free ourselves up physically. Make sure you've done some of the breathing exercises I did in the first video, and you feel relaxed but energized to sing. And then maybe give it another go and see if that's helped. Okay. The next exercise I'd like you to do is a 5-note scale up to a note that I want you to sing for a long time, 5-6 seconds, and then come back down the other side. We're going to do it once, covering our ears, and the second time I want you to take your hands away mid-long note and see what that feels like and what the sound is like to you, okay? And actually this time, just because it's you, I'm going to add a first version as well. This is something I don't usually do, which is without your hands up, and see what the benefit is. So the first version is going to be this. Second version covering my ears. Okay, did you hear a difference? I felt a difference physically. I'd be interested to know what the difference you heard was. Now the third version, I'm going to take my hands away mid-long note, like this. Okay, now the idea really is that when we take your hands away, just because I now can hear my voice, I no longer use my ears to affect how my physical action is taking place. Hopefully you understand that. So if you'd like, pause the video. You can do this scale going up and changing the pitch, of course, and whatever you find particularly useful. But it's really important to sort of hone in on how you feel physically and to turn off that oral feedback that for so many of us can be an issue. Okay, try that exercise and then I'll move on to the next section. So finally, we've had a lesson going through practicing without listening to yourself, being aware of how you feel physically, talking about working on your sight reading and other aspects of life as a choral singer. And the final thing I'd like to talk to you about very briefly in this discovery of how to be your own leader is confidence. What do you mean by confidence? That's such a big word. I'm not so confident. How do I become confident? All those things. Well, you can do all the work in the world for every aspect of yourself as a singer and learning the music and all these things, and that's great, and that will help with your confidence. But also there's a sort of mindset. I remember having a lesson with a famous Welsh tenor about 10 years ago when I was at music college. And he said to me that 90% of the singing thing is confidence. And he said that he was actually not the most confident person in himself, but he had spent his career acting confident, sort of putting on this act of I am confident. And actually everybody is going to be nervous going back to rehearse. Everybody is going to be nervous having not sung together or having not seen each other, and the various sort of COVID resulting precautions in place and being more spaced out, not having used your voice so much, not having sung that high note or that low note. But actually it will be there, it is there, it will be okay. We will be singing together again. And stepping into the space with a confidence and a positivity will only be a good thing and will only actually shine your sense of, allow your sense of being a leader to shine amongst the group of people you sing with or have sung with or will be singing with. And on that note, I look forward to seeing you at the next lesson, which will be specifically about being a tenor. Thank you. Bye-bye.